with Firdaus using the Paintology drawing app from the Google Play Store. So today we're going to talk about, let me go to this screen, the 5 things related to, this is the app, the Paintology app, where if you're new to this live stream, you will know that the Paintology drawing app allows you to draw digitally, but developing techniques, focusing more on techniques of drawing and the art of drawing rather than just simply using tools. And because of that, the drawing is very capable and allows you to make great drawings, as you can see here. These are just in a matter of weeks are made. Lots of drawings here with the Paintology drawing app, and most of them are actually on the phone as well. And quite a few lately have been drawn on the using the, you can see this one using the fingers actually. So I'm going to show you. So it's quite powerful in that, from that point of view, and I wanted you to. I know that many of you are beginners, so I want you to understand what it takes to become a skilled artist, and I will talk about that. So some of the important points related to drawing, okay? I mean, it's not just relevant to digital or traditional. It's actually relevant across the board because keep in mind that I'm teaching you art fundamentals. The whole idea of paintology is to teach you, ground you in the skills of drawing, and it applies to all mediums. Yeah. So let's go to the first slide, which I have. If you're beginning, keep it simple. That's all I can say, right? Most people are passionate, they really jump into drawing because they see others, they're moved by other people's artworks, and they think that they should use the best tools. And of course, you should use good materials, especially in some of the traditional, right? You don't want to use a flimsy piece of paper. But what I'm saying is, if you're starting out, you want to understand the tools are not going to be what makes you a good artist. What makes you a good artist are the techniques you develop over time. And I just recently posted a Quora. This is the, so if you look at the Quora, oops, here, okay, let's have a look. Recently, if you look at the Quora, paintology.quora, you can find many drawings made with the Paintology app. So you can get started right away. And of course, you have the Paintology website, which you can see here. So let's go back to keep it simple. So which means that you really need to keep your ideas and everything simple because very easy to get carried away, and then what happens is you will almost become frustrated because you're not able to understand the drawing process, which is one of the 5 rules, which I will explain later on, and because you're so new to it. So it's understandable to get passionate, but keep your keep your ideas like simple, and don't rush, and just remember that you'll need to develop these skills and techniques which the good artist seems to have. Okay, so uh, the other thing I can say is go go with an open mindset. Don't assume or make presumptions on what the drawing is about just because someone else told you so. And so I'm going to talk about the five principles based on the Paintology, because Paintology, as I mentioned, teaches you these techniques that are essential to good drawing. And I will use this as a platform for explaining it more clearly, and hopefully you will have installed the app and follow along with me. And I'll show you at the end a working drawing, a drawing that you could do on the phone. So this, by the way, I'm using my Samsung tablet, and like I said, I normally use my phone, my other phone, and that's the 6-inch Samsung Note phone, and I use a stylus sometimes, but lately I've been, like I said, I've been using my finger, and I find fingers to be very natural for some odd reason, especially when it comes to digital drawing on the phone. So if you look, the way I draw is usually on this, you'll see here. So is my, just with my finger, and I can make really good drawings on the phone. That's because of some of the features that the app has. So the thing is, if it comes to digital, I don't actually make the distinction of digital and traditional art as being very different. In fact, I think most traditional artists are missing out on digital, and the reason they miss out is they have a different perception of what digital is. And digital is a lot simpler than they like to think, and for some good reason, which you will find as well as you continue to use Paintology, and also I will provide examples of that. So next piece, the cranial muscles. Okay, I think I've spelled that right. And yes, yes, cranial muscles. What that means is, let's say you bought a new car, you need to start understanding how it brakes, how it accelerates, how it turns, and all that. And you're not going to get it right away. So you need to condition your thinking and your develop the muscle memory to be able to do that. And it applies to drawing. So it's the same way that you would do any other skills that require some training, you would do the same for drawing as well. So that means obviously practice, but I didn't want to put practice at the beginning because it can throw a lot of people off. They think it's tedious. The journey of drawing is a hard one, challenging, and met with a lot of obstacles. Well, that's not the case. It's actually a lot more rewarding if you go about it the right way. So, training your muscles for me is taking a pencil or paper and then just drawing. And then, people have shown you demonstrations of drawing a circle, and the more perfect you get, the better, which is just nonsense actually. You don't make a perfect circle and you've somehow become a good artist. Training is in being able to do to define your strokes. For example, I'll show you a drawing that will explain that very clearly. This one, you'll find that I did a live stream of that yesterday or the day before yesterday. And if you're not familiar with the two YouTube channels, there's two of them. One is the Pentology, and the other one is Produce, which is essentially my personal website YouTube channel that I make the drawings, but it's very similar to Pentology. Pentology focuses on the app and everything around the app, whereas I tend to branch off a little bit more on the Produce channel, YouTube channel. So I was showing this live stream of, you're probably familiar with the image, is the rock. And then I drew this in a matter of minutes, the outline. That's training yourself to do the outline and the shading and just putting the various bits of elements in there without being challenged, it's just being fluent at it. So you're always training. Remember, your training does not stop at any particular time. Your muscles will increase, your speed will increase, everything will just continue to increase until it com, comes to a level where everyone just like goes, wow, how did you manage to do that? Well, it's all developing the techniques and the training to get to a level, right? To get to this level you want. So let me see what else I can mention on to the training. Yes, so defining the strokes and the trace method of drawing, which I will show you at the end, is exactly that, to train your muscles. So let's go to the third point. Appreciate tones. What do I mean by tones? I mean, I think if you're a beginner, you still have a rudimentary understanding what tones are. Tones are the very thing that makes up a drawing or an image or any three-dimensional object that you see. Like, let's go here. Let's go back. So let's look at this one I did on the phone of Brad Pitt using, I think I used a stylus for this one. And look at the tones. What are the tones on this particular drawing? Well, you got the dark hair, the banding on the hair, the eyes, the pupils. Look at that. Yeah, dark, light, mid-tones, light tones on the nose. These are all that make up this whole image to look visually believable, like an image that is believable, right? So these are tones that are essential to understanding. And again, if you stick around, I will demonstrate how you appreciate tones through block coloring. It's a method developed in printology that will get your understanding of tones to a very high level, and this will rapidly increase your drawing skills. You'll be amazed. And I always surprise myself. If you think I've stopped learning, you're completely wrong. I continue to push my skills further and further, find new ways to draw, new ways to enable others to rapidly increase their drawing skills. So let's go to the fourth point, drawing process. Yeah, this, I don't think you'll find that many teachers or artists talking about that particular subject, because the drawing process encompasses all the aspects that make up a drawing from zero to all the way to the finished art piece, right? And to most beginners, they're wondering, they're scratching their heads, is, if I want to get into drawing, how do you go from zero to, the drawing that you just made? How do I go there? How is it possible that you came all the way here? Well, this was the final goal I had to develop. I had no idea how the particular drawing was going to come about. And I don't push for that in one go. I basically go through steps in drawing, and the drawing process, the steps towards drawing are fundamental to improving your drawing all the time. The reason why many people drop off in the drawing is because they go from, I'll show you one with an example here of this one. So this is a blog post that I created, the process of drawing, yeah? learn the fundamentals. So let's look at that. Oops, let's close that. The process of drawing. Let's look at that. Right. This is shows you here. You should read this definitely. It's not. I don't find there anything online that explains this kind of method of drawing. It tells you, and this is the way that I work when I reach a drawing to a particular level, right? Even photorealistic. I mean, this is was done using the trace method, but I also do freestyle. I'll show you photorealistic drawing here. So this is the photorealistic of Brad Pitt, you know. And the reason I drew this because I was watching Wimbledon and I saw him within the crowd. So that's the reason I sort of thought. Now this was the final goal, but I didn't know what was going to come out of it. And I'll show you. I'll go back and then I'll tell you a drawing step just before that. Look at this one. Do you see how it differs from the final drawing? But from a distance, it does not. So this was like the penultimate step of the final drawing. So I kept going and going and looking at areas that I needed to improve. Okay. So that is, in essence, the drawing process. You may think, oh, well, that's self-explanatory. I mean, what is it? I mean, how does that help? Well, you read this, and I guarantee you're gonna pick up a few things about the drawing steps. And the way I can explain it is through making a drawing, and I have done that with a few of my drawings where I say, okay, you've reached this level in the drawing stage step, and then the point I'm making is that you would not go to the next step had you not reached that level. This is very important to understand because that's what spurs you on, that keeps going. And to any artist who sits through for an hour or two lost in their drawing world and then they come up with a really good art piece, it's because they go through that process of drawing. And so this is really key to making good drawing, the drawing process. So just keep that in mind. If you don't fully appreciate it, you will once you start drawing with any kind of drawing, painting, traditional. I happen to also I came from a traditional background, as you know, and then I moved to digital because I found it very powerful and versatile. And then the final one, of course, you probably don't want to hear it, and you probably heard it 1,000 times from all that you practice. But notice I didn't put it at the beginning because in the beginning it's so obvious when people say practice, practice 3 hours a day, 4 hours a day, and then they make it seem regimental. So what's the point of doing any skill or picking up any skill if it's so regimental and not rewarding to the person doing a drawing? And sadly, that's why majority will push it aside, drop off at the beginning stages of the drawing, thinking, oh gosh, all I need to do is drills and drills and drill. And then hopefully, I'm going to show you that the drawing experience and journey with Paintology is actually quite fun. So, practice is where you will learn from drawing. And then I'm going to go back and then I'll show you this. So we click on draw and then go blank canvas. Okay, now most of you will go to an app like Procreator app, see a blank canvas and then see some tools and then start doodling. I mean, that's not really inspiration for you to make the drawings that I've shown you, right? I mean, this is not going to get you to draw all these subjects that I routinely do very easily in very short space of time. So this blank canvas is just not going to help you. So therefore, what makes it so much more interesting are these tutorials. You can see there tutorials organized by different categories. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick a tutorial for you, right? This one. So this is how you can get access to the tutorial section. They're all free and they're all designed to improve your drawing with practice. So here, let's go to this trace drawing here, right? You'll see that it launches you into a video, okay? And that video is actually showing you how the drawing is being made, yeah? This particular drawing, okay? So it's showing you how it's being made. So what you can do is click on this icon on the bottom left and it will take you to the drawing canvas, the trace here. Okay, so now what do you do to get started? Very easy. It's not that difficult at all. And most people are sort of wired to see a blank canvas and then use somehow pull all their capabilities, which they have none, into bearing, and then make a drawing. It's just not possible. You want to learn the techniques and skills. And so this is just one of many ways, particular ways of drawing with the Paintology. It helps you to understand and appreciate. So this particular one is in trace mode. So the trace mode is here. It means that the image sits on the top half of the trace bar here. So which means that anything you pick from this image using the color picker, like this black tone here, is the color of that underlying image. So block coloring is based on that, and I'll show you an example. And just after I've done this very quickly. So what's going to improve on here? I can tell you right away, based on some of my experience, is that it's going to help you develop the strokes. So let's find a suitable brush size. Is this a good brush size? See, this is your drawing canvas. There's nothing there at the moment. So you put this where you can see the traced image and just simply start drawing. So what is this doing? That's actually improving your drawing strokes. Yeah, see that? It can go fast, slow, and it's the same size as the then you can just go. No, you don't have to be accurate and you're not expected to be accurate. So I'm going to make this drawing really rapidly, really quick. And I want you to do the same. Don't think about the accuracy of that drawing. That's why I sort of joke when someone says draw the perfect circle and you're somehow magically a good artist. It's not. You don't draw a circle. Art isn't all about circles, is it? Look, see how I'm using that? That's improving my drawing strokes. So I'm doing the broader, I'm doing the broader stroke, right? See here, following the trace in the trace method. The larger stroke. Notice there are smaller strokes as well. What I mean is a lot of smaller brushes, which I will now turn to in order to finish But let's see what we've done so far. Okay, we've done this, which is not bad. I mean, if you started out drawing, see how easy that was. And then let's pick a brush size. And then let's see if that's the right size. Yep, that's the right size, all right. That was lucky of me. And just draw. Don't worry about the details. Just draw. And then how about this one? Is that, yeah, that's the right size. So, again, just fill the areas you have not done. Okay, and just the areas that you have not done, and then go over it. Okay, and then you can see more of your drawing. Very easy. I mean, if you can't do this, you need to look at, rethink where you're going wrong, yeah? You need to first figure out. So give yourself a lot of time, patience. All right, let's see what we have here. Look at that, so simple, isn't it? Oops, I left out these two areas here. All right, there you are. So that's one drawing, and then now you can save it. Save, and then you can always go back home, and then you'll see your drawing appearing at the top here. Yeah. So you can continue the work, the drawing, whenever you feel like. You don't have to do it in one sitting. And then let's get to another tutorial that we can try our hands, like paint by numbers. Let's try that. So that last one would improve your drawing strokes, yeah, which was the muscle memory that I mentioned in 2. Let me show you that again. It's the train your muscles. So you keep doing that to train your muscles, and you get better, less shaky, more smoother, and you'll find. And then now you can, and I'll show you another way of how you can keep training those muscles. Let's go here in tutorials, and the paint by numbers. There's a lot of tutorials on that. So these are of course difficult ones. Now let's go here to this particular woman's. And then here you can see here you got 2 ways. So number 6 is just simple. What you do, press 6 and it assumes the red, and then of course you need to change the size, yeah, change it and make zoom in to make itself comfortable. Again, don't focus too much on the detail, just enjoy yourself while you're doing it. Okay, don't have to follow exactly the process, you're just learning. And then you want to learn and then create the drawings. Let's pick 7, which is white. Okay, you don't need that now. Let's do the, let's change the size a little bit. And oops, add the white. So 6. Okay, there you go. So let's just fill it in. Let's zoom out, and then let's do the eyes. So you got 4 here. So you get a small brush. So see if it's not small enough, make it even smaller, okay? this improves your drawing strokes, and now it gets you into drawing with colors. And then I'll show you the block coloring, which I don't know if I did that right, but anyway, I was talking. So it's 4 here. And then 7 is white. And then 7 is white. And then this color, here, I'm not sure what that is, black probably. Let's do that black. And then zoom in to get the details. What does this do then? This helps you get better with your drawing strokes. See, I'm not using any particular tool, I'm just doing a drawing as you would with any paper or pencil, right? Right. So we have here, let's look. So you can see how it's coming along, yeah? So that's, again, you can save it if you want. Then we can go back home. And then let's pick another drawing. I'll show you tutorials. And then let's pick this one, intermediate one. It's not really intermediate as such. You're free to do this. So let's watch this tutorial. Okay, so now this one is obviously saying you can watch the video tutorial of this while you draw, and let's see how it's done. Let's have a quick peek into how the teacher has done this. So it's picked charcoal brush, looks like. Then just continue drawing, developing it. Look at that, all the stages of the drawing. Marvelous, isn't it? And then, so I can show you, I'm not going to go into detail, but I can show you that this brush with the shade brush is going to do really well on this the shade brush. And then in grayscale mode here, and now you have the ability to, you can see here, it's just like a pencil and paper. I mean, sorry, pencil on paper. So you just use the outline drawn and then just create these different shades. And then look, we know that the pupils are very dark. So we can move it across the grayscale. So it's just one method. Just operates like a pencil. All right. Then you can adjust the brush. I'm just showing you really quickly. Okay. All right, there you can see how that is coming along, right? So you can actually take the brush, change and do its ears there. Right, you can lighten it. Yeah, see here. And then change the gray. This is understanding gray tone. and it's like a very similar to pencil drawing. So let's go back and show you block coloring now. I think that would be nice. Block coloring. So here's one, block coloring with famous Will Smith, isn't it? Let's see if we can find it. There's Will Smith. Doesn't seem to be there. Okay, well, let's pick. Press this guy. Didn't seem to be there. Maybe it's not so. So we're in grayscale. Okay, this is actually paint by numbers. So we've already shown you that. I wanted to show you block coloring instead. Let's see if this one works. Yes, this is also paint by numbers. Sorry, not. And let's switch out of grayscale. Discard. And block coloring. Well, the block coloring is there, but that's a new category which I haven't fully. Okay, let's. Okay, instead of doing that, let's do something else. Draw, and then we're going to open up an image and trace. Let's just go to gallery. Oops. So this is, I'm going to show you how you can actually load an image here. So let's go to images. Let's put that here. Sorry. It's not, oh gosh, it's not moving. It doesn't even move. So let's pick a celebrity, right? How about that? Celebrities. Okay, let's, well, who should we pick? This lady here, isn't it? Or not? Download image. Okay, then simply go to Paintology and then trace image. Then let's pick that, the one we just picked. There you are. Now you can see the image is loaded here, and then all we do, block color is very interesting actually, and we could use these brushes. I've become fond of haze dark here, and I'm going to set this 100%, doesn't matter. And then look what I'm going to do here. I'm going to go keep this, as you know, in the top half, and then block coloring implies you saw the paint by numbers where I went through numbers, picking a numbers from the palette at the bottom. This is actually a lot more powerful, and I would recommend you do drawings like this. Excuse me. So now we select the brush size, right? Let's say 12, 14%, right? And then pick the color picker and then pick this color. Okay, so this is what we're going to do. Watch what happens. It'll be easier for you to understand. I'm going to pick the color tones. I'm going to clear the tones so I can show you what I mean by tones, because remember, one of the major points principles was appreciating tones, and this is how we appreciate tones. So here, keep selecting color picker, color picker, color picker, the color picker for that. Just defining the tones. Reason I'm picking the color picker each time is because you don't know the tones change a lot. You'll be surprised how the tones change so easily. See that? See the tone changes? This method of painting is actually key to improving your drawing significantly. Believe me, I've made major progress, leaps and bounds of my drawing because of using this. And then I'm going to show you how many tones we have picked up from just doing her forehead. Look at that. Can you possibly do that in any other way? The reason why these tones are picked up is making you acutely aware and improving your muscle memory and becoming tuned to tonal drawing. And that's the reason why you saw those fine drawings that I did. Right, let's just go through this because I really enjoyed block coloring. It's very nice. Here, then just go, and then you can do with your fingers, of course, using your pen. And like I said, I'm only demonstrating this on the fact that I have a bigger tablet here right now, but most of all of my live streams prior to this was done on the phone. So even the black hair tones, you're going to see the variations of tones happening here, yeah? And color picker, and then the reason I'm continuously selecting the color picker is because I can lay down these tones. And believe me, when you come to do freehand drawing, your improvement in selecting the colors will improve dramatically. That's how I did the Brad Pitt freestyle, just by observing another reference image, not in trace mode, but in another device. So let's look at the black tones even. Look at that. Look at the variations in the black tone. There's so many. And you think if you're beginning, you think, oh, I didn't know that. Or perhaps that's what I'm hoping you'll have some kind of a epiphany on how drawings are made. So here, I'm just going to go here, and then I'm going to pick this. These eyes are always interesting. I'm going to show you how quickly it is. Select a small brush size, and then use the color picker. This improves your drawing strokes as well as understanding form shape, because it's tuning you into drawing the shape. Like the eyes. So if you're in portrait drawing, this is perfect. You see, I'm not using any tools, digital tools. I'm drawing very much as you would in a pencil and paper, right? Color picker, you see I'm selecting the color picker so I can select the right tones. You think that was white, but look, it's not necessarily white. Now here, and then just go over it, just put the, and then let's do the hair. So I've got it at 3%, and sometimes I go all the way to 1% because that's what I need to achieve the tonal balance. And then notice my strokes follow the strokes of the region I'm trying to draw. really fun. Drawing experience required, really. You think about it, and then it's just perfect. Instead of going with a blank canvas and then picking tools and doodling, try and this is techniques that you're developing as you draw, and you're also producing some artwork relatively easily with no hardly any. And this gives you encouragement to go further. Let's see what that looks like. So that's coming into shape, isn't it? And then you can say, well, I need to fill this in. Color picker, the white areas that you saw. Normally, the way I would draw this is to lay down the first shade, the first foundation, like any other. Okay, and then let's just keep going. This is actually the famous actress Priyanka Chopra. Okay, look, we have to do her lips, isn't it? Because I think she's famous for those those lips of hers. Okay. Okay, so easy. You see, I'm going with rapid now. I was going to show you slowly, but I'm just going rapidly and picking the color tones. Just want to show you how quickly, with minimal effort. See, so what you're doing is you're really focusing on the tonal changes and thus applying to the drawing. If you know where the tones are changing, and then here, tones here. This is your selection of where the tones are makes all the difference. And keeping it very localized, so I don't want to move too far away from that region so the tone becomes too blocky. If you once you check your palette, you'll see I've picked up thousands of tones, and each image will be 1,000. As our job as an artist is to render the painting with the minimum number of tones or colors we have. That's why traditional mixing and painting is so important. But with digital, we've got tools like this, which really helps you. You wouldn't think that this with the colors. Okay, and some black here. Let's see how this looks. You can see her eyes here coming together, isn't it? So let's finish this eye. As you keep drawing with speed and accuracy, you'll find that your drawing confidence will develop. because you're not really focusing on getting things exactly right. And when they tell you, okay, draw from a blank canvas, that's really not the best way to encourage someone to draw. You should do these kind of drawing that makes it more interesting to draw, isn't it? So here, very quickly, just developing those eyes. Let's see what it looks like. There, look at that. So now we can go here. Oh, block color. You could have selected a larger brush, but then it would look a little too flat. I wouldn't give the impression that there are tones behind this. Look how the tonal values changed. Look at that. Then you'll see that that area has a little bit of a darkness associated with it. It's typical of a face, isn't it? One of the features of the face. All right, so let's do the other side here. So there are many images like this. You don't necessarily have to use the one provided in the tutorials. Like I said, I just showed you how you can download your favorite. One of the keys to enjoy the journey of drawing is to do drawing that you love, isn't it? And people love anime, and digital is very really easy to do anime because it's got the tools to do that. But if you like drawing in this way, traditional, then you can't beat this way of drawing digitally, can you? Fingers. You can see how I carried the color from there. This is where you have to be careful. Let's see how it looks so far. Looks. And then you can always go back, fill it in. And then let me just increase the brush size a little bit. Oops, take it to 12. Pick that color. Okay, pick that color. Pick this color. Pick that color. And pick that. Pick that. Look at that. How the tones change. This is how your mind will become in tune with the tones required for your drawing, yeah? And then you could pick this darker tone. So let's take it down and then follow this darker tone like that. Okay. All right. She needs a bit more hair, isn't it? Let's do that. Okay. You can see how quickly one can do drawings. So I would say it's more powerful than paint by numbers, but Paint by numbers people are familiar with. Look at that, I'm following the line of the hair and giving the illusion of, yeah, see that? There. Look, she's got brown hair and there's a lot of dark patches and then there's a light patch here. And then the density settings of these brushes, you'll come to understand more as you do it. So there you was. Look, so quick and so easy. So easy. And you can go as detailed as you want. And obviously, this is not the final stage of the drawing, but you can see how you can produce drawings like that. And doing this method of drawing, especially if you like portrait, helps you to first, one, improve your drawing strokes, and two, to look at the reference image and get tuned to the tones that make up the composition of the face. And secondly, proportions of face. You become tuned to how the nose is and the eyes are aligned, the relative spacing and all that, because you're following the exact, they talk about foreshortened when it comes to drawing, and then you could improve your foreshortened, method of drawing by simply doing this, doing it enough times with trace, and then getting better at improving. So the point is, traditional and digital has remained somewhat separate from each other. It doesn't have to be. They both encompass the same thing of art creation. So I'm going to go and just round off. So, yeah, so what I was just touching on, digital versus traditional. Well, I think you'll agree that digital is being used in many ways as tool based, which is a lot of multitude of tools, layers, blending, blurring, you name it. And you can choose to draw like that, but the fact is you will lose the core understanding of art fundamentals that has existed in traditional, and this tones and the very thing I was talking about. Even though I'm talking about digital, if you look at any digital tutorial, they immediately rush to tools, and there's very few that are done by freehand like this. And then you continue to push your freehand drawing skills in this manner, and you will eventually improve your overall drawing. Doesn't matter in digital or any other. You will continue because that's what the idea behind the this Paintology app is all about. So just to recap, uh, so we spoke about keeping it simple. So keep it simple. This implies in traditional use the simplest materials. When I was doing traditional, I never ventured to complex, expensive art, art and decor type, like professional quality paints or anything like that. I always use student grade. It seems to do the job, and I've created some pretty impressive pieces of art. I mean, I can show you if you like. Here, actually, some of my traditional. It's just a few of my traditional. Here's one. This is a painting that of Monet's, done with a knife. It's like inspired by Monet's, and then used a palette knife and acrylic, cheap acrylics. That's all. Well, I don't know what's going to happen over time, but so this is a lot of these artwork. All of these are done on the phone using the Paintology app. So the whole idea is that when I come to draw, and believe me, I'm an advanced user of Photoshop and GIMP, but I wouldn't use it for drawing. I have a distinctive style of what I consider as drawing is to use my hands and to be creative with my hands and not just dive into tools and do the blending that's needed. Like this is a photorealistic drawing of the Matteo Angelo. He did a photorealistic drawing, and I did the same here using the tablet freestyle. So you can see the Matteo and Marcello, I think, does some very, very realistic drawings. And so I thought I'd try mine. This was done several years ago. But you can see the possibilities of digital, and I don't use any effects. I mean, if I were to start using digital effects on this drawing, God, the first create a fill it in, then I would start. It's just to me that's just hard work. If I'm going to use Photoshop, it will be for vector illustrations, logos, graphics, anything, but not related to drawing as in this sense. So this was another drawing I did using just the one brush, the shade. This is a packet of Walker's Crisps. If you're in UK, you'll know what I'm talking about. So there you are. So I just want to show you that digital in the Paintology sense is different to most other apps you may have come across. If you're interested in anime and drawing like that, then go ahead. You're better off using Ibis or those Procreate. But if you're interested in like fine art, like such as this, this kind of artwork, then you should. Then this is a freehand drawing, and then you should try your hand in Paintology. So love to hear from you guys what you think of the app. There are quite a few users now beginning to come to my live stream. So please do leave a comment or any feedback you have and subscribe. And so I'll continue to bring you the stuff that you want to hear about and talk and for me to talk about. And that will help you to get better in drawing. So hopefully these 5 tips in drawing, especially with the example using the Paintology, will encourage you to feel more confident about drawing and get better in drawing. So hope to see you again soon. Till another time, thank you for watching. Bye bye. Oops, I think I've lost it.
image.